The MCU is probably one of the most greatest film franchises in history, probably only being rivaled by something like Star Wars, but what about its copies, the Monsterverse and the DCEU, both being the most prominent? Today, we have Godzilla from the Monsterverse and Superman from the DCEU.
But he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He's told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He told me, let the children use it. Let the children use it. Let all the children boogie.
Both usually considered the strongest characters within their respective verses. Which is why today I'm going to be starting the series that I mentioned on my polls, which is going to be about Monsterverse Godzilla versus popular opponents that he has been faced of, whether they be from film, media, manga, or even games or web shows. Monsterverse Godzilla is a Godzilla that I think is the most mainstream, so therefore he's the one people put against a lot of characters that really don't have any similarities to him. However, doing this to either A, overhype Monsterverse, or B, downplay him ridiculously. Trust me, there is no in between, which is quite sad. So, I want to go over accurate depictions of these battles as best as I can, of course. I'm not a perfect, but so first I'm going to start off with probably one of his most popular matchups, since I'm definitely not the first person to cover it, but I want to give my own spin on the take. So, Godzilla will be in this evolved form, and he can change to Spiral at will. However, he will not be given access to Thermo. If you think Spiral is above Thermo, that's cool, just add ever multiplier to whatever you want, more power to you. However, personally, I don't. And for DCEU Superman, I will be including his scaling from Zack Snyder's Justice League, just to make things more interesting, as I know it's not canon, but it's more fun that way, and it makes for a more interesting video. So let's start with the Man of Steel himself. Superman can even just casually move tectonic plates even as far back as Batman vs. Superman. Even then, with his just casual strength, putting him in around the country ranges, which is actually consistent as the World Engine, which could destroy the weak within several hours to destroy the planet within several weeks to hours, which is the given time frame. A weakened Superman is not only able to one-shot this World Engine pretty casually. Keep in mind, this World Engine is producing small country ranges of energy, which, considering he is weakened, this would make a country-level Superman, not only before the power-up he gained in Justice League, but also just his casual output. But let's get into his actual higher ends, since this is just what he's casually able to output, nothing truly serious. Now we're getting to the serious stuff. Superman not only off of statements, but also logically would upscale off of the Blue Beetle's Scarab explosion, which not only outright destroys planets on screen, it is stated it can destroy planets. And when this feat is actually calc, this can actually go from the large planet ranges to even the dwarf star ranges of power at its highest end. Superman would also upscale characters like Black Adam for the same reasons. Even Amanda Waller thinks that Black Adam would not beat Superman, making this line of scaling more consistent. Black Adam is able to just bust a moon, which is calc that small planetary. This is consistent with Superman scaling to the mother boxes, as he is below them, as not only did he die to them before the Flash reset time in the Snyder Cut, Batman thinks that it would destroy all life on the planet and the planet itself, which includes Superman, and Superman doesn't seem to be able to separate the mother boxes on his own, needing Cyborg's help. And the mother boxes are calculated as large planet as well, and Superman should scale to them to a degree, since, as I just mentioned, he does not fully scale to them, but he does scale to them. He is able to, with help, affect them with their boxes, which is consistent with Batman's own word that Superman can actually bust a planet himself and Batman thinks that Superman would be the one to counter them on the boxes with planet busting power. And this planetary Superman ranges even gets more consistent with Darkseid's statement about destroying planet, which I wouldn't personally take, as it lacks context. Doesn't mean he's instantly destroying the planet. Did he do it over time? Did he have help from his army? But you don't need it, so I think just Superman in the planetary ranges is fine, maybe even large planetary, with the absolute highest end you can achieve for him being Dwarf Star. For his speed, his laser vision is just, in fact, light and actual lasers, which makes sense as it acts like one. Wonder Woman, Batman, and Cyborg can all react to these lasers, as well as Doomsday's beams, which should be the same. Batman and Wonder Woman can also react to. These feats have been calculated to sub-relativistic, or in this specific case, around 23% the speed of light. Superman can not only blitz these same people, but even just see them as frozen to him. One of these characters, Cyborg, is able to even perceive nanoseconds, which is actually a fast light feat, which is consistent with even a Man of Steel Superman outspeeding the World Engine while weakened, the World Engine being compared to a black hole. Therefore, Superman is essentially outspeeding something that can even pull in the light. Even the Flash's speed, which Superman scales to, well, he cannot directly tag the Flash. He can keep up with him. And the Flash also has FTL feats via traveling back in time, making Superman at least in the FTL ranges, maybe even the MFTL ranges, considering he's able to blitz and see them as frozen. For his abilities, he doesn't have much in terms of terribly special. He has his flight, heat vision, freeze breath, and enhanced senses. He doesn't have any crazy busted hacks. Now moving on to Godzilla. I'm not going to cover Godzilla in every single video I do in this series. I might just stick it to one, or I might just copy paste this part in every video, most likely the former. So I'll just, for example, next video, I'll give a quick rundown and tell people who want a more further description to go check out this video. For the absolute lowest end, we know Godzilla, Shimu.
She must be super strong breath that can freeze everything, and you also hurts calm, and she's massive.
Shimo's sort of this weapon of mass destruction. She's so powerful, she can basically destroy the planet.
Ghidorah, and even as people as weak as Kong, can outright destroy the planet, which is consistent with things like the Hollow Earth drilling feat, excluding the Hollow Earth's own properties and energy readings, which is calc and the planetary ranges, as well as the Hollow Earth portals having whole planets worth of energies being forced upon to the user, with even people like Kong, Star King, and Zuko taking this energy. In fact, Kong going so far as to destroy a machine that also took this energy like nothing by just crushing his fist. And obviously a base Godzilla would be massively above the two monkeys, more or less Spiral, or Evolve, who at the least can just 3-shot Kong.
Well, and see, like, in the last film, Godzilla won from crushing Kong down. That's sort of his, like, finisher move. But, you know, Kong got lucky here because the ground in Egypt gives way and it's, like, sandy. And so the stomping isn't enough to crush him to death. So that's the reason why that move isn't as effective here as it was in the last movie.
If not just one shot with his stomps, and one shot Kong with his breaths, making the gap between Kong's planetary ranges and Godzilla's own power pretty significant. Meaning at the least, Godzilla is in the large planetary ranges of power. But for higher eds, at the bare minimum, the Hollow Earth portals alone are compared to black holes, not only in Monarch Legacy and Monsters with their energy readings, but the novels say the same thing, so even if you want to be iffy about Monarch Legacy and Monsters, the novel backs it up. so I see no reason to be iffy about Monarch Legacy of Monsters in this specific instance, even going as far as to say that their space-time distortions is a property of a black hole. Calculations such as Godzilla walking through these portals get you dwarf star, if not just star level outright. More or less, the fact that the aforementioned Godzilla, Ghidorah, Shimu, and even Kong can destroy the planet containing this Hollow Earth, which would automatically just make Godzilla the star ranges of power, considering even people massively weaker than him like Kong have the potential to destroy the planet containing at the least star levels of energy. The highest possible end you can get the Monarch Legacy of Monster statements would actually make it up to the solar levels of power, as specifically for things like gamma rays and supernovas, which according to Versus Battle Wikis, this would, and just, you know, science, would be solar system, and even according to Versus Battle Wiki, some black holes are also solar. Combining this to the fact that Godzilla can destroy the planet that this solar system level of energy can contain, as well as even just upgrade a lot of the previous feats due to the properties of the Hollow Earth, this would make at the absolute highest end Godzilla's solar system level. However, personally, I think the star level energy is fine. For Godzilla's speed, we know that his breath is made up of Cherenkov radiation, which on Earth is 75% the speed of light, aka relativistic. People like Ghidorah, whose reactions to this breath have been calced at relativistic, who Godzilla can keep up with. And Kong has similar calculations, in fact even higher, with some of them actually outpacing the breath, which gets us the FTL ranges of speed, which Godzilla can not only keep up with, but even be faster than Kong at certain points, especially in his evolved form, where it's outright stated Kong could not react to Godzilla's charge. Mechagodzilla would actually make this consistent, as his proton stream is an outright laser, which it does act like a laser as well, traveling in a straight line and such. But this is important as a weakened, tired, drained, half-power G21 is reacting to this laser. Once again, this feat being calced in a similar range of speed as the Kong one, aka FTL. For Godzilla's abilities and hacks, he has a lot more than you may think. Advanced senses to an even larger degree. Superman's due to Mothra's sacrifice actually giving him some new abilities, such as things like seeing around the world no matter where, predicting and intercepting events before they happen, communicating through others around the world, as well as thermal vision and the ability to see when blinded, and as well as see radiation and energy. Godzilla also has a form of regeneration, however it is not instant and takes a while, such as when he regenerated Kong's slash in his leg by morning, or his dorsal plates when the Ruto Prime shattered them after an unspecified period of time, but within at least a year. Godzilla also passively not only emits heat and radiation just by being close to him, as we see when the humans try to go close to him in GXK, and he's in his blue form, they said that they would just get scorched. His atomic breath is not only able to negate regeneration and the abilities of the opponent, as we see with the Shinamura, who could survive even with only one cell, just gets one shot. It also works at the atomic level and can affect space-time distortions. Take that as you will. So all in all, who would win this matchup? Well, I think we all know that Godzilla would have a massive stat gap. His lowest ends are essentially equivalent to Superman's highest ends. And you don't even need the solar system arguments. While Superman is faster, it's not by a huge amount. Godzilla could react to his lasers, and considering a stronger laser on a weakened Godzilla only left a small burn that just instantly left away, I don't think it would harm him that much. Superman's freeze breath would be equally, if not more, ineffective, considering Evolved Godzilla has a direct counter to Shimo's absolute zero and could break through it. Freezing him with likely a not absolute zero breath is not an option. While Superman could avoid Godzilla for a bit, his attacks wouldn't really do much to Godzilla, if not just mildly annoy him at best. Not only to the fact that just being near Godzilla would weaken Superman, Superman doesn't seem to like radiation considering his reaction to the nuke in Batman vs Superman. So while some people may like to think that Godzilla cannot tag Superman due to his small size, we've seen Godzilla tag jets, and we've seen other titans like Kong tag similar smaller titans and vehicles before, so Godzilla shouldn't have a problem. Worst case scenario, a pulse would do the job. It's only a matter of time when Godzilla gets a fatal blow in, more or less a shot of the atomic breath would just make quick work of Superman. So I just have to say that Godzilla would win this matchup with not that much trouble. In fact, we've already seen how a faster, more skilled opponent does against Godzilla. There's a whole film about it.